So this often happens where people feel bad and they tell someone else, and someone else tries to one up them with how bad they're doing. But it goes way further than this, right? I mean, everyone's aware of that, but I think that people also need to be aware of the global scale that this happens at. Whereas, for example, if something bad happens, like let's say there's a pandemic, for example, and then people can't go out anymore, and then the next day, eventually after a few days, it's gone. The pandemic is quote unquote over. But then there's a war. Let's say, for example, that Russia invades Ukraine. Okay, but then people they what they tend to do is like they want to go outside again because they are no longer stuck within because of the lockdowns. So what happens is these people they go outside and they go and have fun again. So they may even post about it. And then what you'll see is that people will start responding with things like, wow, but there's a war going on and people are having a terrible time and blah, 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 blah. Like saying like, how bad did you have it, because some other people have it worse than you. But that's not how it works, right? Two wrongs don't make a right. So in that same sense, just because one thing is worse than another thing doesn't make the other thing not bad. And also, what is bad to one person may be less bad to another person. People have their subjective experiences because of the way that they've been raised, the way that they've grown up or developed over time. So it's not really a good argument to say, well, you shouldn't be against, for example, mask mandates. You shouldn't be against those because other people have it worse. There's people that are starving. Like, that's not an argument. That's conflating two very different things and acting like they're somehow on the same spectrum, but they're completely different situations, scenarios. But the reason why people do this is also important, because again, there's always a deeper side to things. Why do people do this? Why do people always try to go for something worse? And honestly, it's because of their powerlessness. When people become powerless, what they do is they try to blame something outside of themselves. So when other people see something like war, they're gonna blame people that are going to war, right? So like, for example, in the case of Russia invading Ukraine, they might blame Russia. But that's not always the case, because sometimes they even hate people that don't agree with them on that level. For example, if I say I don't hate Russians, there are some people out there who would say, well, why don't you hate them? They went to war, they killed innocent people. Well, yes, but what country hasn't? Name one country that has not in some way, shape or form at any point hurt or damaged or killed innocent people. And no, that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, it doesn't make it right. Again, that's the point that I'm trying to make. Good things don't spoil bad things. I mean, good things don't soften bad things, but bad things don't spoil all the good things either. And in that same way of thinking, right, the same way of construing your argument, you gotta go, okay, well, maybe they are suffering to their degree. And maybe that's not up to me to judge. Maybe it's not about me judging their weakness, but about me giving them strength. Which what people should do is give each other strength. So stop comparing yourself to other people when it comes to suffering. Stop trying to one-up your suffering, or stop trying to blame people for suffering that you are enduring, unless they are directly responsible for it.